Boston? Yeah, I'm from this really racist part of Boston called Boston, and I'm an Orthodox Jew. Yeah. I've never had bacon. I'm that kind of Jew. I've never tried bacon. I've tried cocaine, but I've never tried bacon. That's the life I've had. My real name isn't Alex Edelman. My real name, get ready, is David Yosef Shimon ben Elazar Ruvain Halevi, Alex Edelman. I go by Alex, because it's all I can remember. And I get a lot of crap for not going by my real name. My family gives me a lot of shit for it. They're like, why don't you go by your real name? Huh? You're not proud of your real name? And I'm like, no. My dad's name is Elazar. They'll be like, why don't you go by your real name? And I'm like, I don't know Elazar because it sounds like we're all in Slytherin. That's why. I have cousins, Menachem and Yitzchak. You can't even spell their names in English because there's no English letter for phlegm. I have a twin brother as well. I have a twin brother, AJ. My twin brother is a professional bodybuilder. My twin brother is a professional bodybuilder. And people are like, are you guys identical twins? And I'm like, we used to be. Now we look like a before and after photo. He lives in New York with 2 cats and no neck. I live in New York. I moved there to go to college. I went to New York University. And I didn't know this until I got there on the first day. NYU has no campus. There is no campus. And this is how I found it. I just dropped my stuff off at the dorm on the first day, and I said, where's the campus? And the RA was like, what? And I said, where's the quad? And this is what he did. I'll never forget this. He went, Alex, the city is your campus. And I said to him, I was like, I don't know if you know this man, but I did a Google, and last year there were 188 murders on campus. My first job in New York, I worked at KFC. I worked at KFC for 3 weeks, which is the longest anyone has ever worked at a KFC. I have a pension. And what you're supposed to do when someone walks into a KFC is say, can I help you? The KFC that I worked at was in Penn Station in New York, and I worked the 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. shift. At 1 o'clock in the morning, in a fast food restaurant in Penn Station, can I help you is not good customer service. It's a promise you can't keep. I never minded sad people, by the way. You should be sad. It's a KFC. You should be devastated that you're in there. The people I minded were like, happy white hipsters who would come in like it was a real restaurant. And they'd say things like, what's your healthy option? And I'd be like, leaving. That's our healthy option. You should be the same as the employees who work there when you go into a fast food restaurant. You're unhappy, we're unhappy. You're gross, we're gross. You're not wearing gloves, we're not wearing gloves. This woman came in once, and she was at least 300 pounds, and she had the meanest expression I've ever seen. And I said, can I help you? And she went, I don't know, can you? And I didn't know what to say to that. I just went, we have a chicken. What would you like? And she went, I don't know. And I said, well, what are you feeling? Which is also the wrong question. Because she goes, well, I'm tired. And I'm homesick, and I miss my family. What do you think I should get, you little asshole? And because I was like 18, and I had no training, and I had no other options, and I really wanted to help, I was like, if you miss your family, we have a family bucket you could get. All right, thanks so much, guys. This has been so cool. I'm Alex. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Alex. That's the name I go by, but that's not my real name. My real name, this is true. My real name is David Yosef Shimon ben Elazar Ruvain Halevi, Alex Edelman. I go by Alex because it's all I can remember. I go by Alex, and my family gives me a lot of shit for it. They're like, you're not proud of your Hebrew name? No. I'm not. My father's name is Elazar, and he's like, why aren't you proud of Hebrew? Why aren't you proud of Hebrew name? And I'm like, I don't know, Elazar, because it sounds like we're all in Slytherin. That's why. I have cousins, Menachem and Yitzchak. You can't even spell their names correctly in English because there's no English letter for phlegm. A lot of my friends are having babies or adopting, which is fine. I'm actually thinking a lot about adoption. I know that sounds silly, like I just turned 29 last week. And like, I think that's right on the edge age-wise, right? I think that's just like, just a little too old. I don't think anyone will take me at this point. But I'm at their house, and I'm holding their baby, and the baby's name is Jameson, and Jameson starts to cry, which is fine. He's a baby. And the mom, who's never liked me, she looks at me and she just goes, sounds like Jameson's not a fan. He usually has a really good sense for men. And I kind of like got a little annoyed, and I was like, it's fine. He's a baby. He doesn't even know he's alive yet. And never say this to a parent. I went, he's just a bag of things at this point. And she drops the passive part of passive-aggressive, and she goes, he's very intuitive. And then I lost my temper. I was like, he's not. He shits himself. That's the #1 sign someone isn't intuitive. If you worked with someone and they shat themselves regularly, you'd be like, Roger is a lovely guy and a decent lawyer, but his lack of intuition is gonna cost us this case. Roger, go change, buddy! And they go into the kitchen and talk about how awesome I am. And they come out, and she looks a little apologetic. She goes, sorry, we're a little uptight because people are judging us for the way that we're raising Jameson. I said, what are you talking about? And she told me this, and I didn't know it was a thing, and now I'm very aware it's a thing. She went, well, we've decided we're not going to vaccinate him until we know more. And I was like, first of all, here's your disease baby back. Second of all, what are you talking about? And she went, well, we've read that vaccines can cause, anybody know? Autism. Yeah, it's weird to hear an audience just go, autism. And she said, we've heard that vaccines can cause autism. And I was like, that is not true. And she said, what do you know about autism? And I was like, first of all, I've been tested 11 times. Don't clap for that. Yeah, you don't get like this without people asking a few questions repeatedly. I went to a lot of child psychiatrists. I was a child psychiatrist slut. I remember sitting in a psychiatrist's office, and my parents are talking to him outside the door, and I just remember overhearing my mom go, what do you mean he's fine? But I said, yeah, that seems like bullshit. And she went, well, it's our opinion. And the way she said it sounded like, this conversation is over. Sure, it's our opinion. The science isn't conclusive. And I'm not this guy. I'm very agreeable, but I said, that seems like a really dumb opinion. It seems really dangerous. And she went, you can't judge us for our opinion. And I was like, that's how we judge people. Opinions in action. It used to be skin color, but someone had a dream. And don't owe it this, because it struck a chord with me. She said, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. I went to a Jewish school. I went to a yeshiva. I studied Torah every morning from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, because yeshiva is a Hebrew word meaning miserable. And one of the things they teach you is that when you believe that you're created by God, you believe that God acts through you. If you are kind, that is God showing kindness. If you are merciful, that is God showing mercy. If you show a little bit of understanding, that is God showing understanding. So she said to me, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. And that reminded me of yeshiva. And I had to calm myself down and explain to her that it's possible that God was judging her, but that I was the vessel through which he had decided to judge her. All right, guys, thanks so much. I'm Alex Edelman.